Bro, Kaiju number 8, man. This show is so freaking good, bro. This show is so good. Yet I want so much more, man. When they got that cliffhanger right there, I'm just like, Nani, I need more. I need more. I need more. This show is so damn good, bro. This show is so damn good. Now, apparently, again, from what I heard, I guess people say the manga falls off after a certain part. I don't know why. I guess people thought it was really, really freaking hype, and then it just, the hype, I guess, died down at some point in the manga. I guess some arc or something. Typically, it's one controversial arc that essentially, when it comes to these shows or these shonen series, there's usually that one controversial arc where either it makes you as a reader either drop or continue watching. Personally, if you ask me, some people just I honestly just don't know why people legitimately do that sometimes. Sometimes it's like one arc is like a make or break arc or something like that, or they set their expectations so high about what the author could do next, and if they don't get what they were predicting, then this is a terrible freaking series, right? Some people are just like that, especially when you read manga. If you don't get what the author, you don't essentially get what you predict or you hypothesize may happen, and the author goes a completely different direction. you know, Readers have their own opinions about like, oh, blah 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 blah. This wasn't good, and then it just feeds into this whole culture of anime or just of shonen anime or just manga in general, where it just takes one bad arc for somebody to say, oh, that shit was a shitty ass decision that the author did, right? And then obviously to fit in with everybody else, you're gonna say the exact same thing. But I guess as I continue to watch Kaiju number 8, at some point, because I do believe we're going to get a full adaptation of this show, of the series, because the series is actually concluded, which the good thing is, it is fairly a short series, so it's nothing like too crazy long, maybe probably about a few more arcs, and then boom, that's it, but I know there are some people that probably did not, I think I heard some people saying they didn't like the ending to the to the series and everything, but I guess we'll see where it goes. But this episode, man, was in. This episode was insane, bro. This episode was insane. It's crazy to believe when I watched the last two episodes of season 1 of Kaiju number 8, Isao Shinomiya. I'm thinking like, oh, this dude's gonna be like, he's gonna be the type of guy that if necessary, we can call him, for assistance. But if anything, he's going to try to be a background character. Well, he fights in this episode, and I don't know if we'll ever see him again. For all we know, he's probably dead. But also at the same time, for all we know, he could somehow still be in there, and he could still somehow be alive. But we'll definitely have to see where the story's gonna go. But my goodness, I feel bad for Kikoro because she lost not only her mother, she lost her father. Probably the only other family member, she's got. So, this legitimately could be an arc for her of, all this and everything. And maybe, just maybe, her father's right-hand man may show the Bacta tank, I think containing her mom. Because it really definitely did look like they were, Isao was trying to bring her back to life. We'll see where that goes, but this could be a nice character arc for Kikuru, maybe where she starts to doubt herself about saying like, maybe, not being in the defense force is worth it, right? Sometimes that can happen. We'll see. I don't think she will, because she's one of my more favorite characters of the series, and I definitely do like her fight style, and she is a badass. But my goodness, Isao Shinomiya, she's a badass. He's a badass too. So we see how Shinomiya, or Kikoro, is a badass. She gets it from her mom and her dad, bro. But this episode was shocking just from the standpoint, bro. Kaiju number 9 was legitimately, dude. I don't see who can top this guy. I'm guessing he clearly is going to be the fine. He's clearly the main antagonist. He is clearly the Frieza. He's clearly the Aizen of this, show, the Shigaraki all for one type character, you know, because in the first season, he was a reoccurring villain where you kind of took him as a kind of a joke, but then, after he escaped, you're like, okay, they would not be doing this if they didn't have big plans for this guy. And of course, this dude is absolutely like crazy, bro. Absolutely crazy, man. I'm honestly, I think we can confirm more than likely now, and I'm only an anime only. I think we can confirm that Kaiju number 9 is probably more than likely the main, antagonist of the show. He is the main villain. So whenever we get to this last end game arc, it's gonna be Kafka and maybe a few other people against Kaiju number 9 when he's at his full max power, right? Probably after, maybe I would say, he gets another fusion or something like that. Um, we'll definitely see, because he, at the end of the episode, he's got Kaiju number 2 power now. So who's to say like he don't come after another character that's got Kaiju like abilities and comes to try to take them out. And then it's like some crazy freaking battle that we building up, right? And the thing is, we got to stop him from trying to absorb all of these different Kaiju powers to make him like this ultimate dominatrix, like very, probably elite Kaiju that the world's never seen before, right? So there's that. But man, dude, this fight from beginning to end was absolutely insane. So you obviously start the episode off. The thing is, we see how, like, Kafka takes care of Kaiju number 9 and he defeats him. Everybody in the basically in the war room, right? They're like, Kaiju number 8 defeated Kaiju number 9. We're good. And, the other Honju forces, they're starting to drop down like flies. Now, there still are some of the ants around, so some of the other members, or the defense force members, does take care of them. And you have it to where Isao's right-hand man was basically like, see, you got nothing to worry about. See, this is exactly, now I see your vision. And we truly actually understand, because we even get a flashback scene with Narumi and Isao, where basically he wants to create this very crazy, powerful defense force, and one that has basically these future generation members. Obviously, he's hinting in this episode, he hints at like the three, like Kafka with his Kaiju powers, Narumi, even though he has Kaiju powers, right? And then obviously Kikoro, right? And we see, like, clearly his plan is, look, I know I'm not gonna be here for a long freaking period of time. Um, he said he knows, like, he's not gonna be here for a long period of time because dude is going to get old and he's gonna eventually die. And on top of it, as he gets older, he's not gonna fight probably like he did in his prime. Like, at some point, as they say, Father Time is going to catch up with you. Like, this dude, for all we know, this dude could have been crazy strong in his prime, but he knows, like, his time is coming up, and he probably just wants to be, retired and just out of this lifestyle. Because we see in the flashback, like, he tells Narumi straight to his face, he's like, look, man, I'm creating this freaking team that wants to be this hyper altruistic, like, defense force team that they can take down any threat. And basically he was cultivating the next generation, training the next generation, and basically told Narumi, like, I want you to essentially be my replacement after I retire. Once I achieve this goal of forming this very high special ops team, guess what, we'll just need probably one defense force member. We can have a minor defense force team, but we'll have the major team that's like, no, they're a dangerous Kaiju, call this team, they got it, ace in the hole, right? They'll basically address threats needed, and the danger and the high dangerous ones. So then guess what, these Kaijus don't become a massive problem. And that's his whole plan to do. And it makes sense. He knows these kaiju are getting stronger. So what's the only way to stop a really strong kaiju? You find people, you find ways to accumulate, to get power, to be able to get stronger than these kaiju, to continue to keeping the peace. And also at the same time, even teaching a lesson to the next generation and saying, hey man, when you get into my heyday, there's going to be even stronger kaijus, slash there's going to be even stronger human beings with better capabilities to handle these kaiju. That's just how the generations are going to go. Obviously the generations are going to go and get stronger as they continue to go on. So he's also teaching the lesson to Rumi, like, hey, find your diamonds in the roughs, but at the same time, find your old, keep not only getting strong yourself to protect the peace, but also look out for the future, because eventually you're gonna realize, like, these kaiju, they're definitely getting stronger, and especially as you get older, you're not gonna be as physically, what you were in your prime. Like, yeah, you'll have the experience, you still have most of the strength, right? But you won't be like what you once were. And that's kind of what Isao's at in this point in time in his life. So regardless, all of a sudden, it looks like things are, happy and everything. Isao basically commends everybody, says how proud he is of them. It gets Kikoro to be actually really happy because, like, I'm guessing genuinely because he's been putting on this tough act and this tough face. Kikoro hasn't heard words of encouragement from her father in a very long time. With the way she was reacting, it sounded like this like the first time in years she actually got complimented by her father. So for her, she's obviously tearing up and she's actually happy. But then all of a sudden, things go from bad to worse. So Kaiju number 9 is not really dead. He's like, well, I never expected to lose like that, but hey, I guess that's how the cards play, right? But, listen, you gave me a good vibe, but I just can't wait to take that kaiju power, and you won't be able to stand up against me. Now, Narumi, even before all this was happening, he was wondering, he's like, bro, I don't understand what kaiju number 9 was talking about, what he was talking about, because he was wondering, like, is he going after Kafka's power? And that's what I was thinking, too. I was thinking, like, oh, he's going to try to get Kafka's power and take that kaiju power from Kafka away. Boy, were we wrong. It was it's your classic freaking plot twist where you think, oh, he's referring to Kaiju number 8. He wants Kaiju number 8 power because Kaiju number 8 is the strongest kaiju we've seen so far. And even the show is explained, like, Kafka's power is like the strongest, kaiju power, the world's ever seen, right? And you think that's the power he's going to go after, right? He's going to go after Kafka. And especially now that he knows who Kafka truly is, right? No. This man legitimately disappears and he shows up in front, and basically Kafka's like, oh shit. He radios in, he's like, Kaiju number 9's gone. It was a decoy. His actual target is you, director, and you just have it to where he was the scientist, because we know he was pretending to be a scientist all the time in his human form. And he shows himself right there in front of Isao and everything, and we find out, like, his main target was Isao Shinomiya, because he has the powers, or he utilized the powers of Kaiju number 2, and that's what his real end goal was. Jeez, why do I have to have hiccups at this point in time? That was a crazy plot twist right there. I did not expect that. I, like, legitimately, because I was thinking, and the anime did it perfectly, how they kind of enabled the idea in the last episode where you think, oh, he's going after kaiju, he's going after Kafka, right? He wants his power because he talked about it, especially going back to season 1, how strong he is and how much he wanted to take down Kaiju number 8 and how much he wanted that power. And you're thinking, like, okay, that means he wants Kafka's powers. That's why you're wondering, that's why you're like, okay. That's why you see Narumi trying to hurry up to pick up the fight to go back up Kafka, because he doesn't want Kafka to die and get his power taken, right? And then you just get that bait and switch where you're like, oh, no. I wasn't going after your power. I just need enough power so I can be able to beat you. And he goes after Kaiju number 2, which is held by Isao Shinomiya. So the fight breaks out right now. Narumi and Kaiju number 8, or Kafka, they're running as fast as they can. By the time they get there at the end of the episode, dude's already beaten and he's already got his body taken over, right? But regardless, right? You have it to where Isao is like, all right, I gotta do this, right? I gotta do this. Now, his other men is like, hey, we'll back you up, and Isao's like, no, you guys won't stand no chance. Also, too, Kaiju number 9 looks absolutely different. He's got like he's basically, his skin is essentially dark black, right? And he's got red eyes. So I'm guessing this is what his true form looks like. Like that, that other form we've seen, yeah, but it seems like this is what his true form looks like. He also looks like, what is it? His skin looks like those flying kaiju monsters we saw in season 1. Because remember, he commanded those things. So I wonder if he actually absorbed one of them, and that's why he ended up having that, right? So yeah, but he's bigger. He looks like the size of a even more of a giant, like a hulking figure, right? That's what, like, his body structure looks like, that of the Hulk, right? So Isao is like, oh, look, I got this. I'll take care of this, right? So he powers up his Kaiju number 2 weapons. We also do find out, like, when he uses the Kaiju number 2 powers, especially in max capacity, it actually drains away at his life force, right? Which is crazy to hear that. So you have to wonder, if he really truly used it to max, how much did it actually drain his life force away? Maybe that was also the thing why he wanted to retire, because he knows, like, okay, I used this power for a very long time. This thing's probably drained away at my life force, for a long time, especially if I had to go max out. Like, he even did it again where he maxed himself out and everything. I'm like, okay, yeah, if he somehow gets out of this, he's definitely retiring for sure. Because I'm like, I don't know how many years, you know, of life he's got taken away from him due to using the ability. That's crazy. It's crazy, and I bet you had to go. He definitely, against in the fight against Kafka at the end of last season, he definitely had to go max power. So he definitely used that thing where it drained away at his life force, right? But you just have it, bro. Immediately, he charges in for a punch, right? And you're just like, okay, let's do this, let's do this. They freaking clash, bro. Immediately, dude gets his freaking left arm busted, bro. I'm like, oh, we are in trouble. Like, immediately, it's not even a contest. They connect for a bit, and then he's like, Kaiju number 9's like, and he's like, boom. And then dude's arm is broken and completely shattered. I'm just like, no joke, bro. Listen, dudes. Look, yes, we know he was struggling a bit, especially when Kafka went, berserk, bro. Dog. I might have to rewatch the fight again, but I don't remember that Kafka berserk Kaiju number 8 form. Like, I don't remember him absolutely busting and breaking Isao's arm with utter ease. I know he beat him up to shit and he made him bleed and everything, and cough up a lot of blood, but he didn't make him like break a limb on contact. Kaiju number 9 did that. And I saw that and I'm like, oh, well, that's just fantastic. We're fucked. Can somebody please hurry up, right? But he gets back up, he continues to fight and everything. And Kaiju number 9, honest to God, for like a good chunk of the fight, he's just toying with him. Like, yes, Isao's giving some good shots and everything, but he's toying with him to the point that Isao's got to go like max out 100%, body capacity of his battle suit. Even though, you see one of the scientists there, who I guess he was gave the job because obviously Isao's something special in him. Because it sounds like, look, you need to get out of here, yada yada yada. But dude's like, no, I'm staying here right by your side, man. If you die, I'm going too. So I'm gonna help you out any way I can. So basically, he formulates most of his power into the suit and everything, and you just have this crazy fight. Isao is breaking his body is essentially breaking down with every blow he's giving, but he's continuing to fight. And as you get this whole fight, you get the flashbacks about him, his wife, and Kikoro. And you actually do see, like, no, he genuinely does care about Kikoro because he did this, and he's trying to take out Kaiju number nine so she can live a better future, even if it's at the cost of his own life, right? Because that's how much he actually cares about Kikoro, which, that's the thing, because you have a few flashback moments where he's like, no, I'm not gonna go down, I'm gonna keep fighting, I'm gonna do this because I know you went down to Kaiju number, I think he said his wife went down to Kaiju number 6, so if this is for me to go down to Kaiju number 9, then screw it, I'll have to do it if it's to protect our daughter, right? And then we do get a flashback moment to when you know his wife is telling him, like, hey, Kikoro said, like, she wants to be in the defense force, right? And essentially, Isao's like, well, it runs in the family. She has our blood, so it makes sense why she would want to do that. Now, Kikoro's mother was like, I saw them, don't lie, I saw that little smirk and everything that you had there, and everything. But the thing is, Kikoro's mother actually said, like, albeit, that sounds great that she expressed what she wants to do. I am kind of feeling a little bit skeptical about that, but hey, it is what it is. If that's what she wants to do, that's what she wants to do. And see, I respect that. I respect these parents. I respect Isao and his wife, bro. Because sometimes some parents, they just want to have your whole life's journey all set out and planned out for you, and it's like, oh, no, 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 you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, okay? You do what we tell you to do, right? It isn't, oh, my goal is to be this, my goal, my dream is to do this in my life. And Kikuro's mother was like, yeah, look, I don't want my daughter getting involved in that because I know that lifestyle and I want her to live a peaceful life, right? I want her to, essentially saying, like, I want her to do something else with her life, right? But, if she says she wants to be, a defense force member, I can't tell her. The least I can do is train her hard. And, Kikuro's mother's like, look, I'll train her hard, but you got to be the one that's got to be the loving, doting father, right? So essentially, she basically said, you got to make her be a daddy's girl, right? Which, in a weird way, we kind of see Kikuru is kind of like that. Um, so, there's that, but I know there was a dope scene, and this only leads him to further go 100% max out because he's thinking of his wife, and also at the same time, I think he's also thinking of the fact he's like, I already know I'm probably going to die, so at least when I sacrifice myself, I'll be able to see you again, and say that I put our daughter in a better position, right? So, he's thinking of her in this fight, right? So he goes 100%, max out. He's basically also infusing Kaiju number two's power into his body. Now his scientist dude is like, dude, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, if you do this, you're never going to fight again. Like, it's over. But we already know it's established. This guy basically, he feels like Kafka, Kikoro, Narumi, they're the starts. And then he also mentions how about Gen and our Ichikawa and Mina, how they're also two other stronger forces, because at this point he already sees himself like, look, we already got plenty of strong defense force members, this team can be formulated, can be built. If anything, that's gonna be the last, after I get out of this fight, that's gonna be the last thing I do, make this super strong squadron, and that's it. Crazy, right? So he basically does that, and he goes in for a resounding attack, right? And he's actually using Kaiju number two's power, and we see, like, and his right hand man's like, wait, what is he doing? Like, if he does that, he's not gonna live from this, right? And I'm like, okay, yeah, he's gonna sacrifice himself, right? And basically he's using Kaiju number two power. It seems like it's like this freaking crazy explosion that's happened, but he's condensing the blast into one whole radius, right? He manages to do that, and we actually see Kaiju number nine's core open up, right? And it looks like sorry, it looks like things are about to go crazy, right? And it looks like Kaiju number 9 is gonna be like, oh, I had a contingency plan, I knew you were gonna do this, right? But then he charges up his injured arm and he does the same thing, right? Another blast, and it makes this massive freaking long shot explosion. Kafka and Narumi see this happen and they're like, what the heck is going on, right? Now it looks like, okay, the day is saved, yay, yay, yay. And I'm just watching this, and I'm like, there's no shot this dude. I'm like, this is perfect. This is typical shonen trope right here. You think the main bad guy's taken care of, right? And then he's not, and that's obviously what happened. Kaiju number nine is like, oh, that was. I have to admit, I was really shocked. You got me there. You got me there in the first half, right? Right? That meme where they're like, they got me there in the first half, but they didn't get me. But you have it to where, Kaiju number nine, he's like, oh yeah, you got me real good there, buddy. But it wasn't good enough. It wasn't enough to take me out. So yeah, that's the thing. And we see like he only took out like basically whatever the other remaining parts of the body. The core is still intact and everything. So I would not be shocked if Kaiju number nine maybe moved his core, because we know like he can move his own core. But he basically what he did, he's like, and we have it to where Isao, he just can't move at all. Like he legitimately can't move. Like that's the thing. And then Isao essentially is just like, I gotta do this. And he's like, and Kaiju number 9 is like, all right, time to come home, Kaiju number 2. And at that point, that's when I thought like, oh, Narumi and Kafka were gonna show up and save him. No, they didn't. They get there after the fight and they see Isao just standing there. They're like, hey, Captain, you good? And then basically, through obviously his kaiju senses, Kafka's like, Narumi, that ain't him. And he fires off a typical Kaiju number 9, one of those freaking, I guess, finger pistol techniques, right? He does, right? And essentially he's like, he transforms back into Kaiju number 9. He looks absolutely crazy. Like he is taking on this different form now, and they're just like, what the hell did you do to the captain, right? To the commander. And he's like, oh, I killed him, and I absorbed his body, essentially. Now that I got Kaiju number 9's or Kaiju number 2's ability, right? Kigoro shows up and just like, stop your freaking lying, right? And she tries to shoot him, but doesn't do any damage whatsoever, right? That's when you ended up getting the flashback with Narumi and Isao. But the thing is, Kaiju number 9 is like, well, I think I had my fun here. It seems like, my body's starting to break down, so I need to go away to go heal this. But I was about to say, I'm like, don't let him go. Please don't do the typical anime trope. And Narumi doesn't follow the typical shonen anime trope, where you let the main villain just walk away willy-nilly and get away so he can just go out there and just go get stronger, right? Narumi attacks, but Narumi's attacks is doing absolutely nothing. And even Kaiju number 9 is like, you see, in my last form, you were strong, but sorry, your attacks ain't gonna work now. And Kaiju number 8, so Kafka comes in with a resounding punch, and I'm like, okay, yeah, well, let's see how he goes, right? Because this might be Kaiju, this might only be a Kafka like type of thing that he's only gonna take on. Bro, when I tell you, I saw this man block, I'm guessing what would have been a full power attack from Kafka with utter ease. Dude, I don't know, man, bro. He blocked that with ease, and he's like, oh, Kaiju number 8, yeah, you're not on my level no more, bro. I can take care of you now. And I saw that, and I'm just like, oh no, this is the first time we've actually seen another Kaiju actually deflect one of Kafka's attacks and block him straight up. And I'm just like, oh shit, we got ourselves a fucking problem. Nobody apparently can touch this guy right now. On top of it, Shinomiya's father is, quote unquote, according to Kaiju number 9, he's dead. I think he's absorbed in the body. He's still in there. Like, it's there, right? It sounds like it's kind of that of like, the Kafka situation. The Kaiju has taken over the body as if it's a host, right? Because it's a parasite, right? Kind of similar to what that of Kaiju, of Kafka. With Kaiju number 8. Again, I have to wonder if at some point the Kaiju and Kafka will have a heart-to-heart moment and just be like, hey, let's use our power to work together, right? And maybe it's kind of the type of thing that Kafka's got to overcome the Kaiju ability. He's saying, okay, let's make a deal. You lose your inner battle, I take over, and then there's nothing you can do. But if you win, fine, I'll listen to you, I'll team up with you, right? Now the question is, if they manage to help Isao and pulling away from Kaiju number 9, is he immediately gonna die and have a few last words? Or, shockingly enough, are they able? Is Isao within, gonna be able to try to fight off the Kaiju number 9? And does that mean he'll be similar to that of Kafka, where he can be his human self again, but he'll have the powers of Kaiju not only now Kaiju number 2, but Kaiju number 9 as well, which would be a crazy plot twist if that would happen. But dude, the episode ended off there. I'm just like, no, I need more. I don't know where the story's gonna go now, bro. This was your typical, not typical. This was when your plot twist you don't see coming. You think it's gonna happen for some other reason, but then it doesn't happen for that said reason, and it's like, oh, yeah, we're in danger now. So, yeah, but regardless, I'm gonna go out of here, guys. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, hit that subscribe button. If you want to get more Kaiju number 8 content or any other anime content I upload to the channel and things like that. But I'm gonna go out of here, guys. Again, do what I just mentioned, and yeah, but other than that, stay safe out there. If you live in Southern California, please stay hydrated and cool today. Stay out of that heat, man, because the heat this past week has been crazy. I got to go back to work today because I got to work a baseball game, and it's gonna be in that freaking heat again, dude. That heat is absolutely unfreaking bearable. But that's what happens when those are the cards you deal with when you live in a freaking very dry heat area. So if you live in California, shit, just anywhere else in this United States, right? Stay cool out there, or wherever you live out in the world. If you're checking out this video from overseas, stay cool in the world, man. Stay cool. It's hot out there. Winter's only coming in a few months, but yeah. But anyways, catch you guys later. Till then, guys. Peace.